may I have your leftovers, sir? A story of unexpected kindness. The autumn rain fell softly on the sidewalk outside Vincent's Steakhouse, that familiar patter against glass that Robert Hayes had heard 10,000 times before. At 62, he'd built an empire in commercial real estate, but lately success felt hollow. His daughter lived across the country. His wife had passed 3 years ago. Most evenings he sat alone at his usual corner table, ordering more food than he needed just to have something to do. Tonight was no different. Robert cut into his ribeye steak, barely tasting it. The restaurant hummed with conversation around him, but he existed in his own quiet bubble. He'd stopped noticing the warmth of human connection somewhere along the way. Then came the gentle knock on the window beside his table. At first, he didn't look up. Street vendors, he assumed, but the tapping came again, softer this time, almost apologetic. When Robert finally turned his head, his fork stopped halfway to his mouth. A woman stood outside in the rain. She was perhaps in her late 50s, wearing a thin jacket that had seen better days. Her gray hair was pulled back in a simple ponytail, and her eyes, Robert would remember those eyes for the rest of his life. They held no bitterness, no anger, just a quiet dignity and something that looked like hope. She pointed gently at his plate, then pressed her palms together in a gesture of asking. Her lips formed words he could read through the glass. "May I have your leftovers, sir?" The restaurant manager appeared immediately, rushing toward the window with obvious intent to shoo her away. But Robert raised his hand. "Wait," he said quietly. Something in that moment shifted. Maybe it was the way she'd asked with such grace. Maybe it was the realization that she'd chosen to maintain her dignity rather than simply begging. Or maybe it was the sudden, painful recognition that he'd been hungry too in his own way for far too long. Robert stood up. "I'll be right back," he told the concerned manager. He walked outside into the soft rain, and up close he could see her more clearly now. Her face was lined with the map of a difficult life, but her posture was straight. She'd been beautiful once, he could tell, and in a way still was. "I'm Eleanor," she said simply. "I'm sorry to bother you during your meal. I thought perhaps you might have something you weren't going to finish." "Eleanor," Robert repeated. The name felt important somehow. "When did you last eat?" "Yesterday morning," she said, then quickly added, "but I'm all right. I just need a little something to keep going." Robert felt something crack open inside his chest. "Come inside," he said, "please." "Have dinner with me?" Eleanor stepped back. "Oh, no, sir. I couldn't possibly. I know what you wanted," Robert said gently. "But I'm asking for something too. I'm asking for company. Would you join me, please?" The restaurant fell silent when they walked in together. Robert could feel the stares, the judgments forming. He didn't care. He led Eleanor to his table and pulled out a chair for her. "Order anything you'd like," he said. Eleanor's hands trembled slightly as she looked at the menu. I don't. Her voice caught. "Take your time," Robert said softly. She ordered soup and a sandwich, choosing the least expensive items. Robert quietly asked the waiter to bring her the evening special as well, with extra sides. When the food came, Eleanor ate slowly, savoring each bite with a gratitude that made Robert's heart ache. Between bites, she talked. And Robert listened, truly listened, in a way he hadn't in years. Eleanor had been a nurse for 30 years. When her husband died, medical bills from his cancer treatment had consumed their savings. She'd lost her home 6 months ago. Now she was trying to rebuild one day at a time, staying at a shelter, looking for work, holding on to hope. "I've learned something through all this," she said, her eyes clear and steady. "Kindness is the only currency that really matters. I've received so much of it from strangers. Sometimes just a smile can save someone's whole day." Robert nodded slowly. When had someone last smiled at him with genuine warmth? When had he last offered that to someone else? They talked for 2 hours. About loss and loneliness, about children and dreams, about how easy it is to become invisible, even when you're surrounded by people. Eleanor shared the small joys she'd discovered in hardship. A perfect sunrise, a shared laugh at the shelter, the satisfaction of helping someone worse off than herself. When the check came, Robert did something he'd been thinking about all evening. He excused himself and spoke quietly with the manager, then returned to the table. "Eleanor," he said, "I own several apartment buildings. I have a vacant unit right now. It's small, but it's clean and safe. I'd like you to stay there. No rent for 3 months while you get back on your feet." Eleanor's eyes filled with tears. "I can't accept that. It's too much." "It's not nearly enough," Robert said. "But here's the thing. I also need someone to help manage the building. Check on the elderly tenants, coordinate small repairs. I'll pay $15 an hour to start. Would you consider it?" "You're offering me a job?" Eleanor whispered. "I'm offering us both a second chance," Robert said. Eleanor covered her mouth with her hand, tears streaming down her face now. "Why?" she asked. "Why are you doing this?" Robert was quiet for a long moment. "Because you reminded me of something I'd forgotten," he finally said. "You reminded me what it means to see another person. Really see them. And to let myself be seen too." 6 months later, Robert stood in the doorway of Eleanor's apartment. Her apartment now, with a proper lease and furniture she'd picked out herself. She'd invited him for dinner, insisting on cooking after her shift managing the building. She'd proven invaluable, not just efficient but genuinely caring toward every resident. "You saved my life that night," Eleanor said as they sat down to eat. "No," Robert said, smiling. "You saved mine. I was the one who was really starving. Sometimes miracles don't arrive with thunder and lightning. Sometimes they arrive in the gentle rain, in the courage of a woman asking for leftovers, in the moment when a lonely man remembers how to open his heart." That night changed 2 lives. But more than that, it reminded them both of a simple truth. We're all hungry for connection, for kindness, for the chance to matter to someone else. And sometimes, all we need to do is look into another person's eyes and truly see them. The end.